Hello, Super Team Germany. Super excited to see you here, especially because there will be two in-person events this time in Germany, one in Berlin, one in Munich. So it's super cool because especially like building games, it's always better together. So if you have a team, at least like two people is already way better than just alone. But you can also work alone. So for game jams, I often also just like to sit there for 5 days and just build something. But yeah, if you want to find a team, I will show you later ways how to do that. But for now, let's go through this. So I'm Jonas. I have been a game developer for many years. And then now I started working for the Solana Foundation, and I work a lot on game tooling and also on some hardware examples. So if anyone wants to build some connection between hardware and Solana, then just ping me. I would love to support you on that as well. But today we're gonna focus on gaming, of course. So what we're gonna do is I want to play a few games with you. Sadly, DevNet is currently down, which is a bit of a problem. So I'm gonna try if we can play something anyway. Otherwise, I will just show you how it would look like. But hopefully, DevNet will be coming back tomorrow. If it doesn't come back, then we need to work locally, and we can also use testnet. So if anyone needs testnet Sol, I have a bunch that I can send you in case you need that. Then we're gonna do some tips for Game Jam. Then I'm gonna show you all the different resources, all the different SDKs we have, Unity SDK, Unreal SDK, Godot, and so on. Then we're gonna go through a bunch of ideas, and I would love to like brainstorm with you a little bit as well. And then we're gonna do live coding of a game. With DevNet being down, this will also be a bit challenging, but then we need to put it on localhost. Or yeah, let's see how we are in time. All right, so this is the game I wanted to show you, which of course currently does not like 100% work because DevNet is down, but you can at least understand the concepts of how you can build an on-chain game. Like this game is called Seven Seas, and we built it last year in the in the New York bootcamp. And it's a multiplayer pirate game. So I can now log in here via the wallet adapter. I'm gonna use backpack. And I can see that I just connected this game with my wallet. And now this is actually a multiplayer pirate game. So every one of these ships is actually another player. And I can also select an NFT. So you can see like I selected here this little fox here. So and this NFT represents now my character in the game. And I can also upgrade it with these pirate coins. So and what I would show you now is that you can see like every move is a transaction. Sadly, they currently all failed because Definite is down. And I didn't manage to switch it to testnet this morning. But yeah, what you can do is you can run around, you can shoot other ships, and when you destroy these ships, then you will actually get the soul that is saved in these ships and the pirate coins. And then these pirate coins you can use to buy rum, which is also an SPL token on Solana, and cannons. And rum, of course, makes your ship stronger. You get more XP, and the cannons make you stronger, so you do more damage. And another really cool thing is that there's this QR code up here. And you might have heard of actions and blinks recently, right? So it's a big thing currently on Solana. And what this is in this game up here is I scan this QR code, and then it pops up a transaction actually on my phone and asks me if I want to have this Cthulhu monster shoot for like a tiny fee. So what this means is that I can actually play this game with a bunch of people, but all the audience can actually scan these QR codes and interact with the game. And I would love to see more of these kind of games that interact with Solana paid transaction requests or with actions or with blinks. So I'm gonna show you a few examples what you could build with blinks, because there's also a track from the Solana Foundation for the 3 best games that were built with blinks, actually. Yeah, that is one of the things you can do. Probably if DevNet is back, maybe I think we have something else on Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe then we do like a little sea battle or something. Yeah, that was just a little starter. So yeah, the thing that we have coming now is Solana Speedrun. This is the 3rd iteration of the Solana Game Jam, which is organized mainly by Magic Block with the support of Solana Foundation, all the super teams, and the 76 devs Discord. And yeah, you can just sign up here. then you're part of it. Then you can join the 76 Devs Discord. And the nice thing is here you can also like find your team. So I just gonna accept this invitation. Then you can get a role here somewhere. I think in README you can just say, hey, I'm a game dev. And then you have these channels here, and here you can also, if you don't want to work alone, you can find teams here. So there might be some artists around, or some backend devs, or some other game devs. And then directly under this, you will find the prices. So we have yeah, $5,000, or here it's like little diamonds for the first prize, then 3,000 and 2,000, and these will be judged by like a committee of game devs in the community. So Magic Block will do one, I think, I don't know, maybe some of the SDK guys. I'm not sure who's doing that. Then we have, yeah, these are the special tracks. One is a booth as well at the Solana Breakpoint, which I think is really cool. Then there is some money prizes, of course. Magic Block is offering an accelerator program, so you can actually really take your game to the next level. Like after the 7 days, you will probably not have a perfect game, but if you have a good idea and see potential, then this will be a great help if you can work with the Magic Block team, because they already went through accelerators before. They know how to run them, and yeah, it's overall a great team. GameShift has a pretty big price here. They have special requirements for these tracks. I think I should be able to click these. Yeah, so here you can see always for every of these tracks the requirements. And yeah, you can just read through it, and then you can see if you're eligible. Then Civic is the thing that lets you identify persons on chain. So, and especially for games, when you have a lot of bots, it sometimes makes sense that you figure out if the person that is actually playing is a real person. So there's this Civic track. Metaplex has a track for Metaplex Core. This is something like the Metaplex NFT standard, but it's way more lightweight, and it's basically the new way of doing it, and it doesn't use SBL tokens for it actually. Then Honeycomb is a nice tool. I'm gonna go over the resources later, which lets you do all kind of functionality for NFTs and compressed state. So you can, for example, do NFT staking, send them on missions, and all that on. Then we have Turbo. Turbo is a Rust game engine built by Josiah, who formerly worked at Phantom. And yeah, it's really fun because it also they also have an AI generation for games, which I'm gonna show you later. It's really nice. Then we have Sonic VM. So this is like some kind of roll up or L2 for Solana. So you can also check their requirements. They offer 6,000 or 4,000 and 2,000 for the best game that integrates with Sonic VM. Yeah, and then we have from Solana Foundation the 3 best games for Blinks, and the booth at the Breakpoint. All right, so there was a lot of talking already. And but the coolest thing is actually that we have so many in-person events this time for the Game Jam. So we have one in Istanbul, we have one in London, and we have 2 in Germany, in Berlin and Munich, which is super cool. And we have one in New York by the guy who's running the Turbo game engine, Josiah. So you can actually, if you're in New York, probably here we are not, no one from here is there, but yeah, you can meet the team of the Turbo game engine directly in their office. So that's really cool. So some tips for Game Jam. So prepare your SDK and setup and pick your track beforehand. So now is a good time to get started. Like, hey, what do I want to build? Which engine? Which technical stuff I want to use, and already set up a default project. And then when the theme is released in, I think, 2 hours, then we will be able to, then you can just start thinking about the game ideas. But it's good that you're not blocked by technical stuff in the beginning. Then, yeah, think about out of the box about the theme. So let's say the theme is restart everything or something. Then you could like build a game where you walk to the right, but as soon as you hit an enemy, you start from the beginning. Or you could have something that is rebirthing, like a phoenix or something. So as soon as we have the theme, we can like do like a little discussion on what we could build with that. Then yeah, keep it simple, start very small, create an MVP. The game jam is super short, so we only have like 5 or 6 days, I think. And yeah, you won't be able to make like a super fledged out game. So usually like we call it like a vertical slice, like you try to make it super nice, but only like for a very little of amount of content. And then later when you run, you can just increase it in width and make it like a proper game. MVP stands for minimum viable product. So get something playable as quickly as possible. Because I think the only rule for the game jam is actually that the game needs to be playable. Everything else you can do, you can use whatever code you want. You can use AI. You can use code you already used before. Just the game needs to fit the theme and it needs to be playable. Yeah, find a team and use tools, like I already said, like check out the Discord, see if you can find some teams, use all the engines we have. I'm gonna go over the engines a bit later. Then you can use AI, ChatGPT, you can generate pictures, you can use models and asset packs from the asset store or from artists in your team. And yeah, this is the 76 Devs Discord. And you can find the links in the slides. So, is there any questions already maybe here in the chat? Which one is down? Oh, definitely is down. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a problem, especially today. For game jam is of course hard, but you can use testnet and I can send everyone who needs some sol some testnet sol. Then use Git. I guess like everyone here does this already, but it's like it makes it way easier to work together with people, also when they are not in the same room, and it will also make it very easy to submit your game later. Because yeah, if the games are open source, then it's way easier to figure out if the game was actually built, if it was built during the game jam, and it just makes everything easier. So I usually like I create a Git repository, I use one of the presets, and then I start from there. Um, that one I had already. Feedback over features, make it juicy. So this is like actually a video I wanted to share. I didn't add the link apparently, but game development juicy. I think this talk here is really really good. It shows you how you should think about your game. It's very important that every action in the game has like some kind of feedback. So if you hit an enemy, there needs to be some kind of explosion or screen shake or whatever. It doesn't matter how good it is, but there needs to be some feedback. So if he just wobbles a little bit, the enemy, it's already better as if you just hit the sword and nothing happens. And this video shows this to you very well. So they start with a super easy and boring block breaker. And then over time, they add more and more features. So they add like screen shake, they add sounds, they add little eyes to the pedal on the bottom and so on. And they add colors. And then in the very end, you can see the switch from the normal block breaker to the thing that where they enable all the features. And then you can see it goes completely crazy, and suddenly it's a good game. And it just took them a few minutes to add all these features. So yeah, stuff like this is very important. So you can see like there's some flashes, there's some blocks breaking apart, and yeah, it shows you how you can very easily make a game juicy. Back to the slides. Slideshow. Then stay healthy, like don't work all night and with only Red Bull. I mean, you can do this like for maybe 3 days, but after the fourth day, you should sleep a little bit. Yeah, make things easier for you, use tools, but most importantly, everyone should have fun. So I definitely have fun building games. Don't only think about the prices, like just make some cool stuff. Rest in peace, BlackBerry, I see here. Is this because the video is so old? Or, yeah. So, yeah, a few words to why blockchain games make sense, in my opinion, why you should build them on chain. That was in the background here. People still use Blackberries. Yeah, now we use all Saga phones. So, you can also build a mobile game. I think this time we don't have a Saga track. Last time you could win a Saga, but you could already like prepare your game for mobile because many people have mobile phones, and there will probably be a new Saga next year. So if you haven't pre-ordered yet. So yeah, Solana is cheap and performant. I think I'm telling no one anything new here if I do that. Any AR updates? I'm sorry. Do you mean augmented reality? I don't think there's any updates on that. No. Then you can reward your players. You can give them rewards. You can NFT token gate your games. You can say like, hey, only if you have a pirate ship NFT, you're allowed to play the pirate ship game. Or you can say whenever you kill another ship, you actually like get a little skull of Raoul, and then these skulls maybe you can trade somewhere for other cool things in the shop or something. Then yeah, games are composable. Like you already saw in this game, it's already using a bunch of tools that are actually deployed on Solana already. So you don't need necessarily need to write your own programs. So you can, for example, it's using tokens. Everyone can create a token these days in a few minutes. Then you can trade these tokens on some decentralized marketplaces, or you can also directly use the Orca and the Jupyter integration within the Unity SDK, for example, and then directly in the game, like trade your skulls of Raoul's for more RAM to make your ship stronger. Then there's some high score programs on chain already that you can use for high score. You can use TipLink to log in. You can use Underdog to mint NFTs. You can actually make a game without any of the SDKs probably, and just use JavaScript and yeah, do something with tokens. That's also already fine. And a cool thing on Solana is, which maybe some people here know, but you have a program, and when you deploy this program on chain, then you can also deploy a thing called an IDL. And this IDL is actually a JSON representation of your program. And whoever has this JSON file can create their own client for your program. So this pirate ship game, for example, has a JavaScript client and it has a Unity client. And someone could now come in and build a parser for this IDL and also create a Python client or a Phaser game SDK client or a Godot client or something. Yeah, you can trade and take your items to other games. Then it's free for all. So what I like most about building a game on blockchain is that I don't need to care about any user credentials. So I don't need to save anyone's email address. They can't forget their password, or at least I can't recover it. And yeah, so instead of accounts, you use wallets for sign-in, and then you only pay once to deploy the program, and then it will just stay there forever. So you don't need to pay anything for it anymore once the game is there. So I think that's really nice and powerful. Then it replaces your payment provider in the game. So whenever I do now a purchase in this game, like I say, I want to buy more cannons, I can just use some USDC, buy these cannon tokens, and I don't have any of the App Store fees, like the 30% that Apple and iOS take. Because if I use the Solana D App Store, then I don't have any fees. And it just works on mobile magically as well. And then you have a very engaged target audience. Like at the moment, like there's many people who are looking at crypto games and want to try them out. And if you have like a new game in the D App Store, then you have already like 10,000 users which are interested in trying these things out. Then yeah, for me, as I said, by now it's like actually easier to build a game on Solana than if I would set up my own server. Because like these stacks are like pretty complicated. You need to set up a database, you need to have like a payment provider, you need all kind of backend infrastructure, you need MySQL maybe, and with Solana you just use Anchor and Unity, for example, is one of the stacks. So I think that's really cool. And it always comes with multiplayer out of the box because all the data is public. Everyone can use the data, everyone can read it, everyone can build their own client for the game, theoretically. So someone could now build like a pirate board game navigation captain mod, which is like automatically driving around and killing all the ships or collecting all the treasures that are spawned. Which could be problematic for the game, maybe, but it's possible. Yeah, the difference between Ethereum and Solana, I don't know how many people here are actually not building on Solana already, but I want to very quickly highlight the main difference, which is on Ethereum, all the transactions go into one mempool and they are processed one by one, which makes them slow. Which means that when you have like a big NFT mint on the chain, then the transactions become more expensive for everybody. On Solana, though, we have parallelized transactions. So whenever you do a transaction on Solana, you always need to put in all the accounts you want to interact with at the same time. And this uses Solana to parallelize the transactions because things that don't conflict in the accounts, they can just be done in parallel. And then theoretically, what this means is when there's a big NFT mint, that only the transactions that need this very, very congested account for the NFT mint would become more expensive. So yeah, this is the idea behind it, and that's why Solana is faster than Ethereum and why it's yeah, better for games basically. Because like your game would be like just a bunch of accounts and they should not interact or influence other accounts on chain. Any questions so far? Otherwise, I will now go over all the resources we have and then you can like pick your favorite engine. Pretty sure that AR games don't work on Saga 1. Oh, I didn't know that. Is that like a Android version problem there? I
You got
guess.
me. I've just tried a few different things. I can send you some examples, but as far as I know, I'll try to sum it up into a few sentences, but I can't do it off the top of my head. But that's what I was noticing. Yeah.
You should maybe reach out to the guy who's building Threeland, CB4BC. I think he did some AR stuff on the saga. I saw it
Cool.
in the last conference.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
So a bunch of resources to get started. So we have all these game dev resources. This is the links that Magic Block put together. So we have the Solana Unity SDK, the Solana Unreal SDK, Cookbook, and so on. Then we have like some audio resources, tools. Then we have, this is a very nice article from Helios. I think Ichigo wrote it. Gaming, how Solana is changing the game field. So this is a really nice article that you could read through to get you started. Here's also like all the different resources, Soar, Unreal SDK, Unity SDK, GameShift. It explains Anchor, which is like a framework to make Solana program deployment easier. Then we have the Turbo Game Engine, and yeah, just overall, it's a very nice article if you want to get into game development on Solana. Then we have the game dev resources from the Solana Foundation. So getting started with game development, it has like a little intro, then some benefits on why you should build your games on chain, then how you can integrate Solana into your games. So you can use NFTs, you can use tokens, you can just connect it to Solana and do your transactions, game actions there using the Solana wallet adapter. You can run tournaments. Recently, I saw an interesting game with an RPG, and they had a multiplayer RPG game, and they had this dungeons, and you enter the dungeon, you pay a little bit of a fee, and then the person who gets like the fastest through the dungeon actually gets the whole pot of all the people who participated. I think it's a really nice thing because it takes a normal game mechanic, but it makes it a little bit more interesting. Then, yeah, you can also develop your whole game on chain, of course, and every move in the game is actually a transaction, which has some advantages, some disadvantages, but I think it's a really cool thing, something to experiment with. Then we have here all the different SDKs. So we have basically for every language that you speak, there's probably one SDK. I will go through some of them more into detail with their own slides. These are all the gaming SDKs, and then here I also posted a few gaming resources. These are already like half a year old, but you have like the tiny adventure tutorial, which shows you how you can move a character left and right on chain. Then we have here some videos on the Create Solana Game, which is like a Solana Games preset with the Unity SDK, Anchor, and JavaScript. Then we have here the Unreal SDK and so on. Then we have GameShift. Is there any game engine that you're mostly interested in? Then I can go more into detail for one of them. Otherwise, I will like try to cover them all above around the same time.
So if it's helpful,
I think the most feature set. It's like,
we did a poll on Twitter yesterday, and it was tied between Unity and Unreal.
all right. Let me start with Unity, and then we are going to show you the Unreal stuff. So Unity is like the Unity SDK has been around the longest. I think like almost 2 or 3 years, and this is constantly further developed. Many people worked on it, and it's built on the Solnet C# SDK, and it has NFT support. It has a custom candy machine integration, so you can actually create your NFT collections within Unity. You can do transactions. It has all the RPC functions like get balance and get block hash and get priority fees and all that stuff. It has a WebGL connector, so as you saw in the game earlier, you could just click a button and you connect to your browser wallet. It has a reliable WebSocket connection, which the JavaScript SDK didn't have for a long time actually. Then the mobile wallet adapter, so it works on Saga, it works on iPhone. On iPhone, it uses the Phantom Deep Links or Soulflare Deep Links. Then it uses, it has a thing called session keys, which lets you auto-sign transactions. It's really cool because you can have a fluid gameplay without signing every transaction every time. And yeah, you can create your anchor program and then you can just generate the code for C# there. Okay, let me look at this poll. Okay, we had Unreal, Unity, and Godot. Yeah, perfect. We're gonna cover them all now. This is the Godot SDK, and this it's maintained by Tumukas1 from Lithuania, and he did a great job in making a 10-part video series about how to use the SDK, how to get started. So I recommend everyone to watch this if you want to go to the participate in the Godot track, because yeah, he put lots of effort in. The game is really fun. It's built like, I think you can build this probably in a few hours. So it's perfectly for Game Jam. And you basically run through a dungeon, then maybe you can add like some jumping or some obstacles. And in the end, I think you mint some tokens when you reach something or something. So it's a really nice game. This is the maintainer. He will be super happy to help you. This is for every of the tracks actually. Everyone will be happy if you reach out to them, ask them questions, and yeah, try their SDKs because they also want to improve, of course. Yeah, so this one has Solana utils, Solana client, transactions, wallet adapter like the Unity SDK, priority fees, token program, and then all the NFT stuff like Metaplex token metadata. And now, actually, last week they announced they also support token extensions now. So that's super cool. So you can use now also token extension NFTs there. Really cool stuff. Then we have the Phaser SDK, which is maintained by Blockosaurus, which is a former, oh no, actually not former, but he works for Metaplex, but he is also a big games fan, and he is maintaining this Phaser preset. Phaser is also a game engine and JavaScript, so if you're a JavaScript developer, then this would be your choice. Then, and they actually recently added the TipLink wallet adapter, which is really cool because now you can actually, in the game, just log in with the Google address, but you get also a wallet attached to it. And still, you don't need to care about any of the saving the credentials because it's using the TipLink wallet adapter. So the best of both worlds, I would say. Then we have the Turbo Game Engine, which is of course really, really cool because Josiah is a great guy. If you're ever in New York, you should go over and meet them. He has a bunch of resources, quick start guide, open source demos, and this CodeGen GPT bot. And that is actually a thing that I would like to show you for a second. This is the ChatGPT plugin, which creates you games in the Turbo Game Engine. So now I can say, what kind of game should we make? Any ideas? Flip a coin. Okay, let's make a let's make it a bit German. So make a potato flipping coin game. So let's see. And now it just creates us the code, and you can actually copy paste this code into the Turbo Game Engine, and it will run. The last times I tried, I tried a snake game or something. I had to like copy the errors from the code once more to ChatGPT, and then it fixed it all, and then it was actually playable. I mean, the snake game was a bit shitty. It's just like because the snake was only 1 pixel big, and it was a bit hard to control, but but it gives you a very good starting point on how to start. So here we can see um, it gives us like this preset macro on the top, like which has the resolution and so on. And then this is the game loop here basically. So it has a game state, and then you can just say you guess a coin. So you say probably 1 or 0. Then it clears, and then you can press A for heads or B for tails. So it also comes up with some kind of controls for the game. And there we have the game. Flipping. It didn't say anything about potatoes, but maybe potato coin flip. It's good enough. Yeah, there's something to play around with, I would say. Here's the quick start. They also have like cute images in their documentation, so that's always helpful, of course. Then we have Honeycomb. They have a track as well, a new their own special track, and they have an example game which is open source, also something with pirates. And yeah, so I'm not quite sure what you can do here, but you have like different resources and so on. And all their stuff is on chain, so you can select wallet, and they use a thing called account compression, which makes everything much cheaper. And then we have the source of the Honey Badger game here as well. So you can probably just clone this, get it to run, and then adjust it to the theme, for example. Stuff like this is very okay. Then we have here their docs, and they have all the usages here. So what you can do, you can have a currency manager, you can have a resource manager for a game, so you can build some kind of cool crafting game with it maybe as well. Then you have missions and staking. So you can have NFTs, you send them on missions, they go there for an hour, and then they come back and you get some rewards. Or staking, you just put an NFT somewhere and they produce some coins for you over time. Then the next thing is we have Game Shift. So this is by Solana Labs. And Solana Labs has built a solution for games to make it as easy as possible to build games. So they have a non-custodial wallet. You can just sign up with an email address. You don't have to save seed phrases or passwords. And it allows you to mint game assets and to have a branded marketplace in your game. And you can pay with credit card. So this makes it very convenient. And I think for their track, they want someone to build an example game actually to qualify for this track. And then you can, I think, get like 30,000 in extra Game Shift credits on top as well. So it's pretty cool. And I built an example game for that actually that I can show you here. And one of the nice things is I don't need DevNet for this. I mean, I guess if I would buy something in the game, it would still not be able to work on chain. But this is basically a Vampire Survivor clone. So I now use the premium character, which is this little monkey here, but you can run around, you can kill these enemies, and you get experience, which are these green bubbles. And when I collect enough of these green bubbles, then I will get a level up. And now I can collect a new skill. So now I'm also shooting these little fireballs. And yeah, these 3 characters you can buy for USDC, for USD actually. It's like proper credit card payments. And yeah, this is the integration here. So this is you can play the game and you can buy these extra characters. And the game is open source, and you can find it here under Solana developers /CubeShift. Then we have Tiny Adventure. It's probably the tiniest game you can build on chain. You can run it directly in the browser in Solana Playground, Solana, it's going beta.solpg. You can just run it here in tutorials, and then you go to Tiny Adventure, and yeah, you have like the tutorial here on the right, and you can just move a character left and right on chain. So this is like a good intro if you want to get into programming an Anchor program. Then we have our Solana Games preset. That's the one that we're gonna live code something in later if you have enough time. So you just do npx create Solana game, put in the game name, and then it spins you up a Unity client, a JavaScript client, and an Anchor program, and replaces all the names already with what you need. So it saves you a lot of time in the beginning. Then another example game that we have is this little city builder here. The funny thing is, it's like a competitive, but also cooperative city builder. So everyone has actually the same resources in the game, this lurk and stone, and can build buildings wherever they want. But you can also choose the destiny of the world a little bit. So if you build on the right side, you're actually supporting the humans, and if you build on the left side, you're supporting the goblins. So I would love to show you this game, but since DevNet is down, it will probably not work because it's connecting to DevNet. I should probably add to all my examples a drop down to go to DevNet or testnet or mainnet. Let's see. So you can see the data on chain is of course still there because DevNet is down, but the RPCs are not. But you can see I won't be able to do any transactions right now. But you could theoretically like build here on this grid. And if you build more on the right side, the humans will win. If you build more on the left side, others will win. You can also pick an NFT. So you can say, hey, now I want to be this fox. And then whatever I do in the game will show my NFT there. So I think we need to go a bit quicker. So there's an online chess game built in Unity as well. So someone could also clone this and add like a proper PvP mechanic in it where you can like pay some sol and then you have like a very nice chess platform. There's thousands of people who play chess, and if you could like play for a little bit of sol, maybe you could make it more interesting, or a little bit of USDC probably. And then another great resource is you can just learn from the last game jams because all the games built for the game jams are open source, or most of them are. And you can just look at the games from the last game jam and open them, look at the code, maybe copy some of the code, and then build your own game that fits the theme. So we have Werewolf Saga, Tale of Cambridge. Kentridge was really nice. It's like this little PvP game here. It's an auto battler, so you like drag and drop these people up there and then they fight automatically. And this one was built in the Turbo engine. Then we have Speedrun Survivors, which was like an on-chain PvP game, Stake Quest. Yeah, so there's a bunch of games here that you can just look at as a resource. I think that's really nice. So we always help people with every game jam to become a bit better. So, any more questions in the chat here? So we have a potato, yeah, that's very good. We're all potatoes here. And we have a coin flip game. Yeah, all right. So I want to have a few slides for auto-approved transaction because I think it's pretty important for games. Because in games you want to have like immediate feedback and don't want to wait for people to open the browser extension, submit the transaction, and so on. So I'm gonna show you a few ways how you can do auto-approve. So Solfair and Phantom has this now as well, have actually an auto approve feature. So you can like create a burner wallet, and then within the wallet for a certain URL, you can say, okay, I want to auto approve here. But this is pretty dangerous actually, and it's a bit hard to onboard players because you need to tell everyone, okay, first you need to go to your browser extension, then you need to open settings, and then you need to auto approve. So this is just something probably more for yourself if you like have an app that you really trust and that you want to interact faster with. Then what we did for this pirate game is we just have a local key pair in the browser. So you just create a key pair, then you have a pop-up, hey, do you want to fund your game wallet? You send a little bit of sol there and then use that for games. So that's very, very easy to use. But it has some disadvantages because browsers are not 100% safe. And especially like when you switch browsers or computers, your wallet wouldn't come with you because it's saved locally. So it's not 100% optimal to use this, but it's a very easy way to get auto-proof going. Then we have a one that's session keys is a little bit better. It works a bit like Web2 auth tokens. So basically you create an ephemeral key pair in the browser, same as with the other one, but this one is actually only there for a certain amount of time, and it's only funded with a tiny amount of sol to just pay for fees, and it's derived from the browser wallet. So whenever I switch browsers, I can just create a new session in a new browser, and from there you can then continue playing the game again. Then this is something that Toli actually always wanted to see, that we use durable nonces to sign transactions. Durable nonce is basically something that you sign, and then you can perform the action that you sign for later, actually. So I haven't tried this. It's supposed to be easy to use and has good UX because just sign the nonce, and then in the backend or wherever you trigger the transactions with it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's also potentially a bit dangerous if you have like durable nonces on your wallet. There can be malicious transactions as well, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't know.
I think we have someone not muted here. Then what you could also do is like clockwork threads. So clockwork is like on-chain automation. You let it run, and then you make threads send transactions and take the fees from a PDA. This something to experiment with. Then the easiest one is probably to sign in the background. That's kind of what GameShift does. So you just deploy a Next.js app. You have a key pair there, you fund that, and then you let this one pay for the transaction fees for the players. And you authenticate them in some kind of other way, like with Google Auth or Web3 Auth or something. Yeah, I would show you this as well, but definitely is down. And I haven't deployed this to testnet yet, but basically what it means, you can just press a button and in the backend it sends the transactions. The source for this you can find in the Solana game examples. And now let's do a fun part. Like I just wrote down a few game ideas that I had, and then we can brainstorm a little bit what would be fun to build. So I think what would be cool is to have like some kind of Solana wars, which is like tribal wars. So basically you build these cities, you build them up over time. Everything you build like takes some time, gives you some kind of resources. And then you have this big map here where you can send units to attack other players. And then you like build tribes together as well. And these tribes then together can fight bigger tribes, and then maybe have like worlds fighting each other. So this could be really cool, and could be built on chain because you don't have too many transactions, and every action takes a long time. Like upgrading your lumberjack would probably take an hour, maybe later, like up to a few days, like in Clash of Clans. Then this is one ancient cave. That's basically a roguelike. So you go through a dungeon over and over again, and with every time you go through the dungeon, you become a little bit stronger. So I played this like a few years ago on Super Nintendo. It was called Lufia, and they had this feature, and everything that you found in blue chests, you were allowed to take in the next time you go in the dungeon. And everything you found in the other chest, you would lose, and you will go back to level 0. But the blockchain part here is actually that you can own some of these floors. So the first time you conquer a floor, you actually own it. And then whenever someone else goes through your floor, you either need to defeat the person that owns the floor, or you pay a little bit of fee. And yeah, so this could be fun to build, and the costs would be distributed to the best players. And the battle could be something like auto pets. Like you have like maybe 3 or 4 people in your army, and they automatically fight each other depending on how much strength and power they have. This goes into the next game example. This is Backpack Battles. It's a game I played recently on my mobile phone. And basically how it works is you have these backpacks and you buy stuff from the shop every round, and these things have synergies with each other. So like it's basically combining a Tetris gameplay with an auto battler. So you can see this pen here, for example. It gets buffed by all food items which are around it in the backpack. And then here we can see we have 3 mushrooms and 1 onion in the pen, and this is of course a very strong pen. And then yeah, I think this would be a fun game, and you could like add some kind of risk element because you need to have 10 wins to win the whole thing, and you have 5 tries. And you could maybe buy some more of these hearts, or you could have increasing rewards and penalties depending on how far you are in the game. So I think it would be a cool game to build. Then if you're super lazy, you could just build a high score and call it pay to win. Basically just like pay, and the more you pay on the high score. It's like a bit stupid, but maybe for a game jam, okay. Then the thing that I showed, I didn't show this yet, right? So this is the Tug of War game, He can actually now win 0.01 Sol because this is on mainnet, actually. So basically, you scan these QR codes here. I'm gonna pull to the left. Um, and we can see now here on my Phantom wallet, I have a transaction which says like, hey, tug of war, pull to the left. And I approve this, and then we can see this will go in a second down from 8 to 7. And the idea behind it is that it's pretty similar. This is actually a Solana action. And what you could also build, oh, someone is also pulling. What you could also build, you could build this game now on Twitter. You could like on Twitter, like render an image, and then you could say like, hey, pull left or pull right. But of course, you can make it way more complex. Like you could, for example, have a spaceship which has like a shoot and a shield function or something. And then you have it on a big screen in a stadium or at breakpoint. And then you have like, hey, the right team plays against the left team. Take out all your wallets. And then you shoot rockets with the one ship, and the other one is like activating a shield because three people like activated the shield battery together. So I think it could be super fun to build something like that. Especially now that blinks are like super hot. Oh yeah, that's what I said here. Like blinks, similar to the tug of war game. Here is the game that Spaceman Dev built yesterday. So here you can see this is how a blink look like. It's a game that Spaceman Dev built, and you can see that it's actually rendering some additional buttons here. This is done by the browser extension, I think Phantom or Backpack. And then I can press these three buttons here. Currently they are grayed out because I already bought 6 hours ago. But yeah, this is how you can build a game, and you could like have your own graphics here. I think you could also re-render the graphics depending on the state of the game. So I might actually try to build something like that. This sounds like really interesting. You could also like have a blink, which you press a button, you pay some sol, you get a token. Suddenly you have like a pre-sale, which is actually a pre-sale instead of just a scam where you send sol to some address, which recently a bunch of people did. Yeah, the Spaceman game is also open source. Then we have this intro into actions from Nick Frostbutter, which is really nice. So he shows you how to use these blinks actually. Then we have a live stream from Blinks that we did yesterday. With Jacob, Bree, and Nick. It's very nice. They ran into a few anchor problems at some point, but before that, it's really, really nice. Then some kind of financial games could be interesting, like something like on Ethereum they had a game called the Wolf Game and the Spy Game. So they are actually quite interesting. I think the Wolf Game is like you buy a wolf NFT and you have cheap NFTs, and if you stake the sheep, then you get wool. And with the wolves, you need to kill the sheeps and steal the wool or something like that. I haven't seen any of these games on Solana yet, so I'm wondering maybe it would make sense to port one of them over. So many amazing resources. Oh yeah, we have lots of stuff. All the game SDKs are there. Then this is one I would actually really love to build. It's a multiplayer on-chain tower defense game. You can play for money against each other. It's based on a mod which was called Lynx in Warcraft 3, I don't know, 20 years ago. But basically, you fight against each other, you upgrade your city, and the more units you send, the more income you get. And you always need to balance if you want to send more units or if you want to build more towers. And then you can have like tons of different towers, tons of different units. And building it on chain would work like this, that you building a tower would actually be a transaction, and the build time of the tower would be 3 to 5 seconds. And then, as long as the ping of Solana stays below 3 to 5 seconds, you can deterministically predict everything that will happen in the game in the meantime until the next tower is built. So I think it would be really cool to build, but it's a very challenging one. Then what you could build is like a 2048 Deluxe. You might see, no, we have this game like 2048 Deluxe. We have 2048, not Deluxe yet. But I was thinking what would be a fun game mechanic, maybe. Oh, this is pretty big. Uh, Let's approve this. So this is on mainnet. Yeah, and how it works is like every move is a transaction again. Ping is pretty bad right now, but you can see the ping down here is like 5 seconds at the moment, but still not too bad for mainnet, I think. And yeah, you can pick an NFT as your character. Your high score is actually saved on the NFT, and every week the best players get all the sol out of the pot. So whenever you play a game, a little bit of sol goes onto this pot, and then every week all the rewards get automatically redistributed to the best players. So you can see this week the best player was dummy NFT because I didn't pick an NFT. But my idea was now what you could build with this, you could just clone this, and then you could like add one character. This character could be an archer, for example. And if the archer is like level 2 and eats another tile that's also level 2, he levels up. And whenever the archer hits the wall or another big tile, maybe he shoots in all directions and halves the tiles or something like that. Or you could have like a bomb that explodes around it. I don't know how challenging this is on a game design level, but I don't know. Found this would be a fun idea. You could also build a dating simulator. Game of Sultan was super successful, like I think a few years ago. This could be fun. Then what I would also love to see is Albion Online. Albion Online is like World of Warcraft, but everything is player owned. All the buildings in the cities are player owned. All the tiles in the city are player owned, where people build buildings on. So if I collect lurk, I need to craft it to become better lurk and to make like planks out of it. To do that, I need to go to one of the stores of a player who has a lumber mill, and it's super interesting. And whenever you kill an enemy, it's permadeath, so it's gone and he loses all his items. No, I think it's not permadeath, but it's like you lose everything when you die. So it's like pretty hard. It's also why I stopped at some point. It was like I just like had all my stuff, went somewhere, wanted to collect some stones peacefully, and then just someone comes and kills me. But um, up to then, up to like when you had to go into the red areas, it was like I really, really loved the game. Then if you want to build anything with hardware, we have the Solana Deepen examples. This shows you how you can use a Raspberry Pi to collect it to Solana and how you can use Solana to control a Raspberry Pi. So with that, you can build all kind of cool stuff. For example, we have this decentralized bar. We have this teapot. There's a 5 volt block in it. And when you scan this QR code, it's a Solana action, like a Solana Pay transaction request. You scan it and it pumps you some wine into your glass. So really cool stuff. And you could also use this for games. You could have multiple QR codes. You could have robots with flamethrowers and you scan one and then shoots the other one. I think it would be really cool. Yeah, now I wanted to do a live coding, but I think we are already at time. So let's do a Q&A. Do you have, heck yeah, Defend Games. Do you have any questions so far? Like for any of the any of the tracks, any of the prices, any of the SDKs? Bring up your own game ideas. I would love to hear them, hear about them.
I mean, it's been an amazing overview so far. I feel like so we do have like these two in-person days as well. I think there's going to be more and more questions come out as people start building. And I think we were going to do a little bit of like so I've recorded this introduction that we can play at the in-person events as well. And we were thinking of doing maybe like a little AMA once people get the ball rolling, and also potentially doing like a little show off your game session with you as well,
Yeah, I'd
depending
love
on
that. Let's do that.
your time and everything like that. Because I think yeah, especially in at least in our region, there's people are a little bit new to the world of Web3 gaming. So I expect that there'll be lots of questions coming out of Munich and Berlin as well, if there's none happening today.
Yeah, happy to answer everything. But also, everyone, feel free to reach out to the maintainers of the SDKs. Like, 100% Tomuka's one will be happy about everyone who builds on Godot. Magic Block has their own Discord, but you can also find them in the 76 Discord. It's Gabriele and Andrea. They will be also super happy to join everybody. I'm gonna be with them actually in an in-person event next week. So we're gonna maybe we can like do a live stream like all the IRL events together and then like show off all our games. That would be really cool.
That would be
And Turbo,
amazing.
Josiah as well.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, you're absolutely right. Tamukas will be here and doing some workshops, and we have a few other things going on as well. So I think it will be nice to connect everybody. I saw that in Turkey, they have an IRL game jam that they just kicked off as well. Vietnam, I heard, was streaming this workshop as well. And yeah, so we're going to share the presentation. Yes, absolutely.